Hey everyone. So I was giving a guitar lesson to one of my online students a few weeks ago. And when I say online students, I mean online student because I only have the one. But that is the way I want it for now. I'm still more or less getting a feel for this online guitar business. Hi, Dan, by the way. That said, when I open myself up to online lessons for anyone who may want them, I'll be sure to let you know. Regardless, my student is a beginner guitarist and soloist with a certain goal in mind at the end of his first year of lessons, and we're working towards that goal. He wants to be able to play the solo to 10 Years Gone by Jimmy Page and Led Zeppelin. Attainable, I think. But before we get to that solo, we're learning some of the main fundamentals of soloing. And he put it to me a couple of weeks ago that he would love to learn the solo to the Wasp, Texas Radio and the Big Beat by Robbie Krieger and the Doors. He felt that it was at the perfect level for his abilities right now. Now, it's not exactly a timeless classic of a solo that everybody knows, being from a somewhat rather lesser-known Doors track, but I gave the solo a listen, I learned it, and I thought, yeah, this is a good solo for his level to practice and to learn. And once we got started, I realized just how perfect this solo is for a beginner soloist. The phrasing can get a little bit tricky at times and difficult to remember, but it's got so many important soloing techniques in it, and all of them played at a speed that is very accessible to the beginner soloist. It's got hammer-ons and pull-offs, bends, pre-bends, scale runs, slides, a bit of string skipping, lots of alternate picking, amongst many other things, and all done within the confines of a scale that every beginner soloist is probably most comfortable with, the A minor pentatonic scale. And like I already said as well, none of it gets too speedy. God, I thought, this is the perfect beginner solo. I must make a video for this, and so I am. So thank you for the idea, Dan. So let's close in here a little bit and get started, shall we? Lots of good stuff here to unpack, learn, and practice. Like I said, get some of those important soloing techniques under our fingers. All right, so let's have a look at this solo. We are in standard tuning with this one. First thing I'm going to do is show you the A minor pentatonic scale, if you don't know it already. Starting on the low E, working down to the high E, 5-8, 5-7, 5-7, 5-7, 5-8, 5-8. Now he also gets into this little extension box of the A minor pentatonic, which is right here. That little box right there. That is 9 on the G, 8 to 10 on the B, 8 to 10 on the high E. So when you're working down the A minor pentatonic, and when you get to that 7th fret on the G, instead of going down to 5 on the B, go up to 9 on the G. Same note. But now you can work into this little box, this little 8-10 box on the B and the high E. That little box there, which he works a lot in during this solo. And so going to play a slow playthrough of this solo first, and then we're going to dig into it. So this is the solo. It starts with a scale run. That's a solo. So the scale run that starts it off, this is an A minor scale run. It is about the most basic scale run that you can play, but it is a lot of fun to play. It's a little pattern. It's a little 4-note, 2-note pattern that runs right down the A minor pentatonic. First 4 notes, 5-8, 5-8 on the low E, and then when you get to the little 2-note pattern is when you jump down to the next string. Down to 5 on the A, back up to 8 on the low E. So that is the first 6 notes of the scale. First 4, next 2. And then you repeat that all the way down the scale. And the scale run in this particular solo ends right there on 8 of the high E. When you're playing this scale run, you want to alternate pick the entire thing. You don't want to be doing double picks and whatnot, because when you're playing it slow, you could downpick the whole thing if you want, but when you get it up to speed, there's no way you'll be able to play it fast enough. You want to alternate pick this. So watch my right hand. It's all down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So that is the scale that opens this solo. Now, when you get to that note in the solo, you're going to back up to 5, and you're going to hammer back onto 8. And then we're into this phrase. And that is 5 on the high E up to 8 on the B twice. And then 5, 8 on the high E. And then back to 5, back to 8 on the B, and then back to 5 on the E. So, from the end of the scale run, and from the top of the scale run. And now we're into the first bend of this solo. So you're grabbing 8 on the B string, and this can be a little tricky for a beginner. So it's going from 8 back to 5, up to 7 of the G, back to 5 of the B. But the bend, you're hitting the note at the 8th fret. There's basically 4 notes going on here, and you're only picking the first one. So pick, up, down, pull off, back to 5, up to 7, back to 5. So 4 notes. Those 4 notes, but you're only picking the first one. And a lot of beginners have difficulty with the pull-off there and getting that note to ring. What a lot of beginners are doing with the pull-off is just lifting their finger. And they're not getting a good ring from that note that they're pulling off to. What we're doing is we're giving that a little flick. We're actually picking it with our ring finger. See, I'm basically picking downwards as I'm pulling off. And that lets that note ring out. So I'm actually picking it. I'm not just lifting my finger off of it, because if you're just lifting your finger, you're not going to get that note to ring out. So that's the next part of that this solo. And that's the next part. We're going from 7 down to 5, 7 on the G, down to 5 of the B, and then 8 on the B, back to 5, and then back to 8. And then we're going to slide 8 into 10. And that's the first little slide work that you get to do in this solo. So up to that point, from the middle of the scale run. And then we're into this part. And like I said in the preface, there's some parts here that the phrasing can get a little difficult to remember. This is one of them. So we are at 10. I'm going to play through that one more time. So that is 10, back to 8 on the B. And then you're going to go 9 on the G, back to 8 on the B twice. And then you're going to grab 10 again, and then you're going to hit it, pick it, and then slow bend it up, not too slow, but, and then you're going to release it, and then you're going to go 10, 8 of the B, up to 9 of the G. So. And then you're going to go 8, 9, 8 again. And then you're going to grab 10 again for a little bit quicker bend, release back to 8, and then up to 9, and then back to 8 again. And then finishing the whole thing up with one quick note at 9. So, like I said, this part, the phrasing can get a little tricky and a little hard to remember. I'm going to play through that whole phrase slowly. And it finishes up with a little string skip down to the high E for 10, 8. A couple of little staccato notes there. So, again, that whole little phrase from coming out of the slide. And now we're moving into this. And that is hammering on 8 to 10. Coming out of, so we're coming out of this. And then you're going to hammer on 8 to 10, back to 8, up to 10 of the B. And then that little thing again that we were doing here on 9 and 8. Now we're going to do it here on 10 and 8. And then the same thing we did here, we're going to do it down here on the 10th fret of the high E. And then releasing back to 8, grabbing 10 of the B, and then back to 8. You follow? Okay, so. And then when we come back to this 10-8, we're going to do that 3 times. And then you're at the third time you do it, 10-8, 10-8, 10-8. And you're going to pluck that note at 8 3 more times. And then you're gonna hit 10 twice, slide it into 12 and hit that twice. And then you're gonna slide from 10, a double hit at 12, slide it back to 10, hit it twice, slide it back to 8, hit it twice. And then up to 10 of the B, and then back down to 8 of the high E. Follow? So, from the middle of the solo, from the little slide. One more time. And then we're into this part, and this is another part where the phrasing can get really difficult to remember. But this is the last part of the solo. And again, we're in this little extension box of the A minor, the one that I showed you right at the very beginning. 9 on the G, 8-10, 8-10 on the B and the E. So it goes like this. slides out. So I'm just going to play that slowly because it's all going on right here in this, with basically 3 notes, you know, and you're bending this one at 10 on the B, but it's 8, 10 on the B and then 9 on the G, and it's all going on in there. So I'm going to play through this just a couple of times. Finishes up with 3 full step bends at 10 on the B. One more time. And coming out of this from the slides. Okay, let's have a look at this final little funny sounding part. He's no longer playing in the A minor pentatonic. I don't know what he's playing in here, but it kind of sounds like this. So that is sliding into 9 of the high E for a triple hit. And then we're going to back up to 8 and then back onto 9. And then jump up to the B string and go 8, 9. And then we're going to go 9, 7, 5 on the B. And then back to 7 and then back to 5. And then up to 6 of the G. And there's lots of sliding going on here. And then we're going to go back to repeat the same thing. And then stop there. And then we're going to do 3 little power chords. Or you can play it up here. It's F sharp, G, and G sharp. And then we're going to go back to the 9th fret of the high E. And repeat that again, but now the phrasing changes a little bit. You're going to repeat that back up on the B string, and you're going to slide into each of these notes. And then you're going to repeat the same thing on the G. And then you're going to bounce back here to 5, and finish up on 5, 6 of the G. And then we're going to repeat this, 9, 7, 5 on the B. Same thing we did earlier, except this time we're going to bounce back to 4, and then pull off 6 to 4, up to 6 on the D, and then finish up 4 to 6 on the G. And then D to E, power chords. All right. That's how you play that solo. And so I'm going to run through the entire thing nice and slow, and then we'll finish up. So 1, 2, 3. And that's how you play that one. And like I said, lots of good stuff in there for beginners or even intermediate soloists to learn and practice. And I hope that helped you out if you wanted to learn that solo, or if you wanted to learn a solo that will help you out if you are a beginner soloist, because this one will. And so you guys take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time. Ciao. 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 Ciao.